हेलो दोस्तों, बिगनर्स पॉइंट में आपका स्वागत है। और अभी हम कर रहे हैं करंट अफेयर्स आज की 16 अक्टूबर। इंडिया एंड इथियोपिया होल्ड इनॉग्रल जॉइंट डिफेंस कॉरपोरेशन मीटिंग इन न्यू दिल्ली. Inaugural Joint Defense Corporation (GDC) meeting between India and Ethiopia was held in New Delhi on October 15, 2025, marking a major step in the expansion of bilateral defense ties. The meeting was co-chaired by Joint Secretary, International Cooperation, Ministry of Defense, Shri Amitabh Prasad, and Director General for Defense Foreign Relations and Military Cooperation, Major General Teshome Yemchu. The meeting forms part of the institutional mechanism created under the Defense Corporation Memorandum of Understanding (MOU) signed between the Defense Ministers of India and Ethiopia earlier in 2025. The MOU established a structured framework for regular exchanges and strategic dialogue between the two countries. Ethiopia is among India's key defense partners in Africa, with defense cooperation dating back to 1958. The relationship continues to strengthen, as reflected in the participation of Ethiopia's army chief in the United Nations troop contributing countries UNTCC Chiefs Conclave being hosted by India in New Delhi from October 14 to 16, 2025. Beyond defense, India and Ethiopia share historical and civilizational links extending over 2000 years. The two nations established full diplomatic relations in 1950 and today enjoy vibrant cooperation in trade, culture, education, and development. The successful convening of the inaugural JDC meeting underscores the growing strategic partnership between India and Ethiopia and affirms their shared resolve to enhance cooperation in areas of mutual interest. Ministry of Mines releases State Mining Readiness Index and State Rankings. Ministry of Mines has released the State Mining Readiness Index (SMRI) and State Rankings, which is a significant step to encourage mining sector reforms in states. This also fulfills the announcement made under the Union Budget 2025-26. The structure of the index comprises indicators like auction performance, early mine operationalization, thrust on exploration, and sustainable mining pertaining to non-coal mine minerals, which are relevant to underlining state performance in the mining sector. Under the SMRI, states were grouped into three categories on the basis of their mineral endowment. The top three ranked states in category A are Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, and Gujarat, while states Goa, Uttar Pradesh, and Assam have been ranked in top three in categories B. In category C, the top three ranks have been obtained by Punjab, Uttarakhand, and Tripura. ECI issues directions for ease of voting for persons with disabilities. The Election Commission of India announced the schedule for the general election to Legislative Assembly of Bihar and the by-elections in 8 ACs on October 6, 2025. The Commission has directed the Chief Electoral Officers (CEO) to ensure that the elections are made accessible to persons with disabilities (PWDs). The Election Commission of India announced the schedule for the general election to Legislative Assembly of Bihar and the by-elections in 8 ACs on October 6, 2025. The Commission has directed the Chief Electoral Officers (CEO) to ensure that the elections are made accessible to persons with disabilities. In Bihar, all polling stations will be located at ground floor and road entry level and will have ramps with proper gradient for the conveyance of PWD electors and senior citizens with wheelchairs. Also, it has been directed that PWD electors and senior citizens are given priority for entering polling booths. To facilitate the persons with visual impairment, the Commission has directed to issue accessible voter information slips with Barley features, along with the regular voter information slips (VIS). As per Rule 49N of the Conduct of Elections Rules 1961, visually impaired persons can take a companion along with them to cast their vote on their behalf at the polling stations. Dummy ballot sheets in Barley will also be made available in all polling stations. Any visually impaired voter can use this sheet to cast his or her vote by themselves using Burley facility on ballot units of EVMs without any help from champions. The commission has directed that there should be proper transport facility for PWDs at the polling station on the day of poll. The PWD electors can also request transport and wheelchair facility by registering on Divyang Saksham module of ECINET. These facilities will be available at each of the 90,712 polling stations in Bihar. Additionally, in another initiative, 292 polling stations will be exclusively managed by persons with disabilities. Military Combat Parachute System, indigenously developed by DRDO, successfully tested at 32,000 feet altitude. Military Combat Parachute System MCPS, indigenously developed by DRDO, has successfully undergone a combat free-fall jump from an altitude of 32,000 feet. The jump was executed by the test jumpers of the Indian Air Force, showcasing the efficiency, reliability, and advanced design of the indigenous system. This achievement makes the MCPS the only parachute system currently in operational use by the Indian Armed Forces capable of deployment above 25,000 feet. The MCPS was developed by DRDO Laboratories, Aerial Delivery Research and Development Establishment, Agra, and Defense Bioengineering and Electromedical Laboratory, Bangalore. It incorporates several enhanced tactical features, including a lower rate of descent and superior steering capabilities, enabling paratroopers to safely exit aircraft, deploy parachutes at predetermined altitudes, navigate accurately, and land at designated zones. The system has compatibility with navigation with Indian consultations, also providing the freedom of use against any advisory of our choice, and is not susceptible of interference, denial of service by outside parties and nations. Indian Navy hosts 5th edition of bilateral exercise Samudra Shakti 2025 with Indonesian Navy at Vishakhapatnam. The Indian Navy is hosting the 5th edition of the Indo-Indonesian Joint Bilateral Maritime Exercise Samudra Shakti 2025 at Vishakhapatnam from 14 to 17 2025. The participating units include INS Karavati and anti-submarine warfare corvette of Eastern Fleet under the aegis of Eastern Naval Command ENC, and the Indonesian Navy ship KRI John Lai, a corvette with an integral helicopter, which arrived at Vishakhapatnam to a warm welcome by the ENC. The harbor phase features a range of activities aimed at building camaraderie and professional rapport that include cross-deck visits, joint yoga sessions, friendly sports fixtures, professional subject matters, expert exchanges (SMEE). The sea phase will involve dynamic and complex maritime operations aimed at increasing tactical coordination, including helicopter operations, air defense exercise, weapon firing drills, visit board, search and seizure (VBSS) exercises. The exercise Samudra Shakti is a key bilateral engagement aimed at enhancing interoperability, strengthening mutual understanding, and sharing best practices between the two navies. The exercise highlights shared commitment of both nations towards maintaining stability and peace in the Indo-Pacific region. Ministry of Defence signs 6,159.44 crore deal for procurement of advanced night sight for Indian Army's 7.62 into 51 mm. Assault rifle. The Ministry of Defence signed a contract agreement worth 659.47 crore for procurement of night sight image intensifier for 7.62 into 51 mm assault rifle along with accessories for the Indian Army with the consortium of MS MKU Limited, lead member, and MS Medbit Technologies Private Limited on October 2025. The night sight will enable soldiers to fully exploit the longer effective range of the SIG 761 assault rifle. These sights are capable of engaging targets up to an effective range of 500 meters even under starlit conditions and provide a significant improvement over the existing passive night sights PNS. This procurement, classified as a by Indian IDDM case with more than 51% indigenous content, is a major step towards Atmanirbharta in defense manufacturing. The initiative will also benefit the MSME involved in manufacturing of components and supply of raw materials. Raksha Mantri approves 100% increase in financial assistance for ex-servicemen and their dependents. Raksha Mantri Shri Rajnath Singh has approved a 100% increase in financial assistance for ex-servicemen, ESM, and their dependents under schemes implemented by the Department of Ex-Servicemen Welfare through Kendriya Sainik Board. The approved enhancements are as follow. The revised rates take effect for applications submitted from November 1, 2025 onwards, with an annual financial implication on approximately 257 crore to be met from the AFFDF. These schemes are funded through the Raksha Mantri Ex-Serviceman Welfare Fund, which is a subset of the Armed Forces Flag Day Fund (AFFDF). The revised rates take effect for applications submitted from November 1, 2025 onwards, with an annual financial implication of approximately 257 crore to be met from the AFFDF. These schemes are funded through the Raksha Mantri Ex-Serviceman Welfare Fund, which is a subset of the Armed Forces Flag Day Fund AFFDF. Penry grant has been doubled from 4,000 to 8,000 per month per beneficiary, providing sustained lifetime support to aged and non-pensioner ESM and their widows above 65 years of age with no regular income. Education grant has been increased from 1,000 to 2,000 per month per head for up to two dependent children, class 1 to graduation, or widows pursuing a 2-year postgraduate course. Marriage grant has been raised from 50,000 to 1 lakh per beneficiary, applicable for up to 2 daughters of ESM and for widow remarriage. For marriages solemnized after issuance of this order, the decision strengthened the social security net for non-pensioner ESM, widows, and dependents from lower income groups, reaffirming the government's commitment to honoring the service and sacrifice of the veterans. Union member Shri Sarvananda Sonwal marks 8 maritime projects as NMPA marks Golden Jubilee. The Union Minister for Ports, Shipping and Waterways, Shri Sarvananda Sonwal, inaugurated the curtain raiser ceremony of the Golden Jubilee celebrations of the new Mangalore Port Authority (NMPA) at Bharat Mandapam. To mark the milestone, the minister launched 8 major maritime development projects aimed at boosting India's port infrastructure, logistics efficiency, and sustainability. The projects include a state-of-the-art cruise terminal, modern covered storage facilities, a 150-bed multi-specialty hospital, expanded truck terminals, upgraded port access infrastructure designed to improve user experience and operational capacity. Sri Sarvananda Sonwal also launched a commemorative postal stamp, a commemorative coin, and the official Golden Jubilee anthem of NMPA to celebrate the port's 5 decades of contribution to India's maritime trade and regional growth. Under Sagarmala, 840 projects worth 5.8 lakh crore are being implemented by 2035. Of these, 272 projects worth 1.41 lakh crore have been completed, while 217 projects worth 1.65 lakh crore are currently underway. Hindustan Shipyard Limited conferred with Mini Ratna status. The Hindustan Shipyard Limited (HSL) HSL has achieved a milestone by attaining the Mini Ratna status. This recognition marks a defining moment in the HSL's journey of financial revival, operational excellence, and growing contribution to India's maritime and defense sectors, said to an official communication here. Established in 1941, the HSL has been a con- cornerstone of India's shipbuilding capability, supporting the nation's naval and commercial fleets. The shipyard faced prolonged financial challenges from the 1980s and even after its transfer to the Ministry of Defense in 2010. Its net worth remained negative despite government support. Post 2015, HSL implemented targeted reforms in financial management, productivity, and technological modernization, initiating a sustained turnaround. HSL Mini Ratna status stands as a testament to visionary leadership, strategic reforms, and the collective determination of its workforce, supported by the Ministry of Defense. Axis Finance to become upper layer NBFC listing likely within 3 years. Axis Finance, the wholly owned non-banking finance subsidiary of Axis Bank, is said to be classified as an upper layer NBFC, following which the bank plans to list the company on the stock exchanges, the lender's senior management said. According to Reserve Bank of India guidelines, a non-banking financial company NBFCs identified as a part of upper layer must mandatorily list its share on a recognized stock exchange within 3 years of such classification. IMF announced appointment of Dan Kurtz as first deputy managing director. The IMF executive board approved the appointment of Mr. Dan Kurtz as first deputy managing director with an effective start date of October 6. IMF managing director Kristalina Georgieva proposed his appointment on September 19, 2025. Mr. Kurtz most recently served as Chief of Staff at the United States Department of the Treasury, where he was the principal advisor to U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent on a wide range of domestic and international matters. He has previously served as a senior advisor to the Under Secretary for International Affairs, counselor to the Assistant Secretary for International Markets, and as a policy advisor in the Office of Terrorism and Financial Intelligence. Mr. Kurtz also represented the United States at international fora, including the Financial Stability Board. FICCI announces Anant Gonka as president elect for 2025-26. Industry Chamber FICCI October 14, 2025 announced RPG Group Vice Chairman Anant Gonka as president elect for 2025-26. Mr. Gonka is currently Mr. Gonga is currently the Senior Vice President of the Chamber. He will succeed Harshavardhan Agrawal at the conclusion of its annual general meeting, which is salted for the end of next month here. Gonka was earlier the MD and CEO of SEAT. He was also worked with Unilever and KEC International. Mr. Anant has a MBA from Kellogg School of Management and a BS Economics from the Wharton School University of Pennsylvania. World Food Day 2025 16 October. World Food Day, observed annually on 16 October, is a global occasion dedicated to raising awareness about food security, nutrition, and sustainable agricultural practices. It serves as a reminder of the ongoing challenges in ensuring that every person has access to safe, sufficient, and nutritious food. The theme for 2025, Hand in Hand for Better Foods and a Better Future, emphasizes global cooperation across governments, organizations, communities, and sectors to transform agri-food systems. IRDAI asks insurers, distributors to form from fraud risk management framework. The Insurance Regulatory Development Authority of India (IRDAI) has asked insurers, reinsurers, and distributing channels to form a framework to address and manage risk emitting from fraud. The guidelines will be effective from April 1, 2026. IRDAI has asked insurance companies to target a zero tolerance for fraud and put in place an appropriate risk management framework. The companies are also expected to have a board approved anti fraud policy, which includes red flag indicators, adequate procedures to deter, prevent, detect, report and remedy fraud among others. और इसके साथ करंट अफेयर्स हो जाती है समाप्त.